Over 700,000 commuters on a daily basis arrive here in midtown Manhattan via Penn Station. It's been decades in the making, but today we're going to look at the new Moynihan Train Hall. There is so much to talk about here, though. We're going to focus the conversation around architectural lighting design. Ylva, thank you so much for sharing this beautiful new facility with us. Could we start with a little bit of the backstory and the history?
Yes, so we are in the Farley building, which is one of the first landmark buildings that was registered after the demolition of the old Penn Station. It was designed and operated for a long time as a post office. The area where we're walking into right now is the main train hall today, but was the mail sorting room. Obviously, as the post office moved from the city centers to the outskirts, there was a need for another civic space, and this just made complete sense. Daniel Patrick Moynihan was a senator that started this movement.
And what a great arrival it is, one that's worthy of New York City commuters.
All the double leaf trusses and the resting columns, the monumental columns on the side, they're all from the original building. And then the vaulted skylights, which create these beautiful 92-foot high apexes. It's over 3,000 panels of glass. We are celebrating this volume of architecture with our lighting system. So you probably noticed that you don't see quite a lot of lighting in here. It's very well concealed. As you stand in the center underneath the clock, you have a horizontal sense of transparency. What I mean by that is all of the vertical surfaces are lit, which allows you to understand where you're going. There's concourses on either side, a waiting room on the other side, and then the ticketing areas in this side. The goal of lighting in here was to see the effect of it and not so much to see the source. And this looking so seamless and so effortless was one of the biggest challenges. To make something simple sometimes is the most difficult thing.
So Ylva, this is one of the main entry points to the entire train facility, whether you're coming from 31st or 33rd or 9th Avenue into the space. What was the approach to creating this familiar skylight here in this courtyard?
In terms of architecture, it's almost identical in style to what you saw in the train hall. The lighting concepts will carry through as well. All the lighting is concealed, but your eyes go to where they're supposed to go, the signage, the stairs, the destination. This is the grand stair that connects essentially the 3 points you mentioned before, and lighting is integrated within the handrails themselves, and it's emphasizing the sense of flow. So people flow from the mid-block connector to the train hall and their tracks and their train eventually.
And how did you guys engage this piece of art?
This is one of the three major art pieces. This is from Elm Screen and Dragset. This is an agnostic metropolis. As you can see, it's internally lit with different color temperatures. And the way we engaged with it is by literally lending it a frame of light.
Agnostic metropolis, that means it's from cities that I see, like Boston in the Hancock Tower, the Gherkin in London, and there's our office in One World Trade Center.
Yeah, it's a melting pot of towers, if you will, much like we are a melting pot of cultures.
What a great analogy.
And what better way to frame art than with a frame of light?
That's great.
On the other end, on 33rd Street, the art piece is different. It's much more quiet. It lends all the attention to the stained glass piece that depicts a scene from New York by Kehinde Wiley. To me, that's like a cathedral to transportation, because how often do you get to put stained glass as a ceiling on a transit facility?
So here we've arrived, Ylva, at the moment of magic. The sun has set, the lights are on, and what an inspirational experience this is. So I know this is a combination of the art of perception and maybe the possibilities of the technology you had available. How did you take care of both of those aspects?
It is probably the most difficult thing to uplight a skylight, even though this has a very dense structure, while you have a dark sky plane. We have employed a variety of technologies in here. We have color-changing fixtures that are uplighting the skylights and the trusses. The lighting that is currently yellow in between the double-leaf truss is always on, and it's warm, so that even during daytime, the historical trusses are constantly celebrated and never rendered in silhouette. And then we also have tunable white fixtures that changes from warm to cool to respond to the sky value. It also changes the intensity continuously, because when you have overcast days, you need to rely even during daytime on the artificial lighting.
What about the color choices here? I see kind of blue and yellow both acting here.
This is celebrating New York tonight, if you will. There are about 15 scenes and the capability to program much more than that in here.
Well, it's an amazing gift to the city, and congratulations on an incredible job.
I find it's a gift to me. To be able to contribute in the history of New York and the future of it, that's a privilege on its own. So I'm proud that I was part of this together with all our team.
After 30 years of living in New York and being a commuter myself, it is long past due that this great city has a space and a place worthy of the stature of New York. And here we are, taking our leave from our city after the end of the day, boarding our train through the elegance of the Moynihan Train Hall.